The fans started to rip out the seats and started to throw them towards the field. One thing I don't like is flying. Yeah.
And your first head coaching job was a team that has a game called the Distance Derby.
Yeah. And we just slept in the middle of the field with mattresses on the floor.
Wow.
Because everyone was just a little bit afraid to go back inside. And, we want to finish in a good place this season where we win the premiership and hopefully win the title.
Hello and welcome to We Are Sydney, the Sydney FC podcast presented to you by Sam Miguel. My name's Sam and this is my co-host Adamo.
Thank you so much, Sam. I'm super excited to be doing this with you and also tell you the Sky Blues story from players to staff as well. And Sammy, we have brought in the big dog. First episode, the gaffer himself, Ufuk Talay. Ufuk, thank you so much for jumping on.
Thanks for having me.
We've got a little bit of an all black scenario
know.
going on here. Can I just say, no one can see it because it's waist up. The gaffer's come dripped up today. He's got his Birkenstocks and the jeans. Very summer of you. I like it.
It's 39 degrees today, so quite a warm day.
Well, thank you for coming because you've come 39 degrees, training as well, straight here. So we really appreciate it. Thankfully,
Thank
we
you for
do
joining
have the air
us.
conditioning on, Sammy. Well, let's talk about the game on last Friday night.
Yes.
You've had a few days now to process it. How do you analyse that performance?
Yeah, we did the review with the staff, presented to the players. There were some positive moments in the game. I thought we started a little bit too high, which allowed them to get in behind us with no pressure on the ball. Harrison made two very important saves in the game. And like I said in the presser after the game is I think we're very fortunate with the two goalkeepers that we have, very talented goalkeepers, and I thought Harrison did a fantastic job. In the game, I thought we nullified it in the second half. I thought we pinned them back. We had some good moments. Didn't have any really clear-cut chances in the game. A couple with Victor and maybe one with Alassane. Second half, we tried to go. Soft goal that we conceded the first one with the set piece. But overall, pleased with some certain moments. The boys, especially the foreign ones, have only played 45 minutes together previously, so we're trying to build that cohesion and hopefully we can see more of that leading to the Central Coast game.
Speaking of the foreigners, is it one of those ones where it might take a little bit longer to gel? I think for us, it looked like a fresh 11 compared to last season. Is that what it might be? Just a little bit longer or?
Yeah, definitely. We've had a lot of turnover of players, not just foreigners, but also young talent that we brought in with Paul Ocon, Reece and these guys. So Abel that's come from Western United as well, so that they come on later into the game. And it's going to take a little bit of time, hopefully not too much time, because we need to win games and we need to pick up points. And we want to finish in a good place this season where we win the premiership and hopefully win the title. So, the more the boys can get to play together within the training environment and on the weekend, I think we're better for us.
Ufuk, one thing that we're going to be doing not only in this episode but throughout is fan questions. We got a lot for you as well. I think it broke a record. Actually, most poll answers. We got a lot of questions in. Sammy, you handpicked one though, a very good one from Mr. James D. Singh.
Yep. Yeah, thanks, James. That was a really good question. So, Ufi, we've got what should fans expect in terms of where this team can finish this season and how do we get there?
I believe we've got every chance of finishing all the way on the top. That's where we want to be. Like I said, I think once we get that cohesion going with the foreigners that come in and the young players that we've also brought in, I think we built a squad with great depth. That's going to get us all the way there.
Thank you for the question, James. That was a great one. Now, the purpose of this show, of course, is to talk current Sydney FC topics as well, but it's also to get to know Ufuk Talay as well, because not only do you have this career as a manager, but you have a very underrated playing career, which I think some of the younger fans won't be too familiar with. Let's go all the way back. A young Ufuk Talay breaks into a star-studded Marconi team as a teenager. What was it like breaking into such a historic Australian football club at such a young age?
Yeah, look, I was very fortunate to get the opportunity through Frank Arok. Before that, I was sent to Italy for 3 weeks to train at Torino.
Wow.
I remember who it was. I think it was Limbar Smash Repairs that looked after it. They covered the scholarship. We say it as a scholarship to go over there. We went over there with three other players. The other three had Italian backgrounds. So we're there for 3 weeks. We trained with the Primavera, which is their reserve team. I was 15 at the time. Did very well. They sent me up to train with the first team. So I trained with the first team at that time as well. Then came back and then there was a bit of stuff in the background where they wanted to keep me there and maybe sign me, and then I think it opened up the eyes a little bit at Marconi as well, and which then produced the opportunity for me to squeeze into the first team. And Frank Arok was known to giving youngsters opportunities as well, so very fortunate at the time that he was at the club and gave me my opportunity to play.
And I think you were the youngest to have played in a grand final, to be in that squad for the grand final. What was that like?
I think it was to play in a grand final and win. I think there's players younger than me that probably played in a grand final but didn't win. But look, I played every game up till that moment, and then Frankie all of a sudden decided not to play me, maybe because I was 17 at the time, a little bit inexperienced playing in the grand final, but I got on the last 5 minutes, and for me, look, it was a great feeling. I played the backhand, not just that. I didn't start that game, but I think I influenced the outcomes as well. I think we had a very good squad, and at a young age to lift the NSL trophy.
Cool.
I ended up playing, I think, 49 games at Marconi professionally before I left to go overseas.
That's crazy that you did it at such a young age. And then as a Turkish Australian, you make the move from Marconi to Galatasaray. What was that like for you? Because I'm sure it wasn't a culture shock being Turkish, but to go from the NSL to such a gigantic club in a great era of Turkish football as well, what was that like?
Yeah, it was tough. As much as I had a Turkish background, Turkish was my second language. The only time we spoke Turkish was at home with my parents. So my Turkish wasn't great when I went over there. One thing I definitely had to do was prove myself when I got there, because you're coming from Australia, and Australia is obviously not known to produce players, football in that sense. So, the first 10 weeks, I remember there were times where when I was playing, they'd see it's me and they'd turn around and pass the other way. So, you had to learn the respect that the players give me the respect that I could play the game and I understood the game, and I was no different to them. So it was challenging at the start, but then once you get into a rhythm, and the expectation is always quite high because you're expected to win every game regardless. But yeah, for me, it was a massive move at the time.
Did they figure out early on, though, at least they couldn't talk rubbish about you? Like, I'm sure maybe there was a couple little, swear words that they threw your way and you picked it up?
No, look, Graham Souness was my first coach when I went over there.
Oh, wow.
I got stuck in the middle at certain times during training because he wanted to get his point across, and he knew that I knew English. So sometimes I ended up being the translator.
So you became an impromptu translator
yeah,
for him?
I didn't like it because personally I was a player. It wasn't my role.
Yeah.
But at times he would be fiery and he'd say it at a tone, and then I'd be like, listen, mate, just want you to pass the ball here. You know what I mean? Like in that sense. So I got used a little bit like that. And then my nickname actually turned into Tell Him, because Graham would always say, hey, Ufi, tell him.
Oh.
And then I'd tell him, and then my nickname was Tell Him for a while.
Did you have to water it down sometimes?
Always watered it down. Always watered
He's
it
like, man,
down.
I'm giving
said
you
you're
2
doing a
minutes
good
of
job.
stuff and you said 3 words. What's going on?
Always watered it down. Always watered it down. It was never a direct translation. Just break it down to what exactly he wanted.
Oh, what an icon as well. When I think of Graham Souness and Turkish
flag.
football, I just think of
The flag.
the flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great moment.
Did you laugh with him about it? Like, man, how'd you get
I
out of
haven't
there
spoken
alive?
to him for Graham for a while, but yeah, look, I was. We played the home leg. We drew 0-0 against Fenerbahce. Then the away game was over there, so it was over 2 legs. The cup. It was a cup final. They scored, and then the stadium erupted, and I think Dean Saunders scored the equaliser late in the game, and we won it on away goals. So the game finished 1-1, but we won on the away goal rule. And I think at the time Graham might have been promised that if we do well in the cup, because I think if we finished 4th that season, that he'll stay for the year after. And I think he got very excited, grabbed the flag, went down to put it on in the chalk. Back in the day, the lines were chalk, wouldn't go in, so then he stabbed it right next to it, and now it's become part of the Galatasaray history.
Part of history, yeah. On the Turkey League, what are the fans like? Because I feel like I've seen some crazy stories about them. Do you have any best fan stories maybe there?
Yeah, look, they're very passionate over there. They're very fanatical over there. I remember we played Trabzonspor away. We were up 3-0 away from home. The far side, I remember this far side, that the fans started to rip out the seats and started to throw them towards the field. So I remember the last 20 minutes of the game was really played on this side. No one wanted to go onto that side of the field. So when the ball went up for a throw-in, no one really wanted to go out that way because all the seats were coming down. When we used to go to Fenerbahce, we'd always take the old bus because there was always going to be rocks thrown at the bus. The windows were going to get smashed, so we never took the new bus to Kadıköy, to Fenerbahce. Yeah, look, it's not nice. It's nice to have passion and be passionate and be behind your team, but sometimes I think it just went a little bit overboard.
Did you ever cop the fireworks outside the hotel room or anything like that?
Nah, not like that. No, more so. That's more so for the away teams that come from Europe in Champions League, where they cop the drums or the fireworks, so they don't get a good night's sleep before the game.
Turkish football fans are very, very, very passionate. Was there any family divide? Like, I can imagine, or is your family all Galatasaray?
They're a mixture. My uncle was Fenerbahce. I think my old man has always been Beşiktaş when he was younger. But for me, I remember when we were there in '88, I always supported Galatasaray and have since.
Oh, that would have been a dream to then be able to play for them.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you always aspire to reach these sort of goals and stuff like that. You never always think that it's going to happen, but like very, very fortunate for myself for that to happen.
How much of an influence did your father have on you as a player and still now in your footballing career?
Massive, massive influence. The effort and energy he put into me. Like I've got 3 older sisters. I'm the only boy in the family and the youngest, so very precious in that sense. When I was growing up, so I had 3 older sisters that really looked after me and took care of me as well in that sense. But my dad put a lot of effort and energy. He used to come home from work. I don't know if you guys remember. You probably don't. You're too young. They used to have the Captain Socceroo VHSs, and it would show some skills and stuff like that. So he'd come home from work, put that on, watch a bit of a skill, and then we go down the park and then we work on it. And we'd work on it until he was happy.
Oh, how long would that take?
Sometimes
Hours.
a couple of hours.
Yeah, he's a perfectionist.
Yeah, until he was happy with it. Once he was happy with it, we could move on to the next thing. So I've said this before, my old man, not just my old man, my mum, my sisters, my family have played a massive role in me achieving my dreams as a footballer. And I've said this before too, that if I carry my old man on my back for 100 years, I still will never be able to repay him for that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It is. And I feel like that relationship probably hasn't changed, because I've been told that, after press conferences, you'll still speak to your dad. You call him, he's in Turkey, discuss the game.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah, he'll always call. It's changed now. I'm a little bit older. I'm nearly 50. So in his 81, 82 at this present stage. So he'll always call. I'll always have to pass my phone over to Davey because it's always going to ring during the presser, and he'll always get me while I'm in the car driving back home after a game, and he'll ask me if he's able to watch it. Sometimes he's able to get onto YouTube and watch it. So he's still pretty good and pretty efficient with the phone.
Yeah, better than my good friends.
Yeah, so he's pretty good in that sense. And if he watches it, we'll talk about the game, what went well, what didn't go well. And sometimes he'll even smash me and say, you made the change too late. You should have made the change earlier, whatever it is. So he'll always express his opinion. And for me, still at this age, if there's a big decision to be made on my career path or the decision that I need to make, I'll always still call my father and ask him. Mm-hmm. He will never tell me what to do now as I am older, but he'll still tell me his opinion and what he thinks.
Oh, that's beautiful. And do you still visit Turkey and your family in Turkey often?
I was there in June this year. I hadn't been for 2 years, so my father's not getting younger, so I wanted to make sure I go see him. So I was there for only 3 weeks, short time.
Beautiful part of the world, I've been told.
Yeah,
I've never been.
great.
I'd love to go. Hair transplant. That's the reason why I need to go.
He always says he wants to go to
okay,
Turkey.
man.
No,
Okay.
it's receding. It's receding. So maybe I'll go there and then I'll do holiday for the first few weeks
sure.
and then I disappear for 6 months after. You don't need that.
No, I'm
you got the
okay.
You have
great.
great hair.
Yeah, my father's still got his hair as well, so I'm lucky in that sense.
Good genetics.
One of the crazy events that did happen to you in Turkey when you were there is the 1999 earthquake.
Yes.
Tell me about that, because there was a lot of players and people that were displaced at fields. What was that like? What was that experience?
Yeah, that night was not a great experience. I remember the earthquake. It happened probably like 3 a.m. in the morning when most people were sleeping. So I think people got caught a lot off guard because most people had been in bed at the time. I remember the night. It was quite a hot night. I remember sleeping on the opposite side of the bed with the window open because there was no breeze. And my mate from Australia was over at the time visiting as well. So I think we went to bed. It kicked off. I remember the building going side to side. My daughter was maybe one and a half, 2 at the time. So I grabbed her. I didn't want to wake my missus up because she was sleeping. I thought it would pass, but it didn't pass. It went for like 45 seconds. I can hear my mate in the other room screaming his head off because everywhere's gone pitch black with the lights. Can then hear people running into the streets, screaming, and then it stopped after 45 minutes. So we didn't know what to do. We said, you know what, let's go to the training ground. So we went to the training ground, and we got to the training ground. And after a while, you see all the players start to come from their houses.
Yeah, wow.
And, I remember Taffarel coming because he's obviously happened in the middle of the night. People were sleeping. It was a hot night. He's obviously run onto the streets with his underwear on, and then grabbed his family, hopped in the car, come to the training ground, and it was funny to see him because he's obviously, because we have the rooms at the club and everyone's got their own rooms, he had a suit probably in his cupboard and he thought, oh, well, I need to wear something. So he's grabbed the suit and he's put a suit on at that time of night. But it was chaos and I didn't think much of it. I thought, okay, we had the earthquake. It was in Istanbul. I didn't want to worry my parents because my parents were in Turkey at that time. So I thought we'd leave it. Then they turned the generator on. We had a bit of electricity at the club, and then the news started to come in, and then we found out that the epicenter was actually closer to where my parents were living at the time. So then spoke to Fatih Terim, was the head coach at the time. I said, listen, couldn't get in touch, phones weren't working. So I said I wanted to go to my parents' hometown to see how they are. They were all good. Luckily, they were all good. My mum's brother lived in the village, so they were all right. They just made a massive tent. We were lucky it was summer, so they were all staying there. And then I think 2 or 3 days later, I went on loan to Bursaspor. So I went to Bursaspor on loan. Yeah, and then we were staying, we were staying in a hotel with my missus, and then there was a few aftershocks that everyone could feel, and everyone got a little bit worried. So I remember the first night in Bursa, we went to the training ground, and all the boys just put mattresses in the middle of the field, and some are there with their kids, with their wives, and we just slept in the middle of the field with mattresses on the floor because everyone was just a little bit afraid to go back inside into buildings. And we're just lucky, like I said, it was summer, and we were able to do that. Yeah, so not great times.
That's insane.
That is insane. And how long did you play in Turkey for, all
I
up?
was there for nearly 10 years.
So you were there for nearly 10 years, and then you had a stop you were in France as well?
Yes.
And then you came back to Australia, inaugural season of the A-League. Of course, when you left and when you came back, Australian football has now changed completely. We go from the NSL to the A-League. What were some of the biggest differences in coming home, and what was a draw factor for you to come back home to Sydney FC?
Well, the biggest thing for me was I've been away for nearly 10 years. My wife's family had always been in Australia at that time. I got married very young. I got married at the age of 19.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was a good thing for me, especially living in a place like Istanbul and having a responsibility and having accountability. Go to work, come home, gave me that stability to be able to continually do my job. I think sometimes when you're in the limelight,
and the head's
you can get a little
distracted.
bit lost in that sort of sense. So, and my missus has been a great supporter of what I've done. You know, we've been married for this year, will be 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Congratulations.
amazing.
Thank you. So, she's always backed me in everything that I've done and supported my career, and she's always worked around what I've been doing in that space. So, it's been very fortunate in that sense. But the difference, and we wanted to come back. She wanted to come back. I thought it was a great opportunity. A new league forming, a lot more professional, obviously full time. Whereas the old NSL days, there was players that were still had jobs during the day. We trained at night, and it's sort of like semi-professional. But the way the A League is, the full time gig for the players, the organisation. You look at our training ground that we have, the facilities that we have are totally different to the days of the old NSL.
Oh, definitely. We've come such a long way, and some of the icons that you played with as well, even just in that inaugural season.
Stacked.
Yeah.
Stacked squad.
Dwight York. Best Dwight York story that you can tell, maybe?
Oh, the best. I'll keep it professional in a sense.
Sure, there's a couple.
MA-rated
ones.
York's first and foremost great human being. For me, the one thing that I've realised in the time that I've played, the guys that have reached the top level of the game are the most humblest.
That's awesome.
They're the guys that their feet touch the ground. I think they know where they've come from and what they've achieved, and they're very humble in everything that they do outside of football. But Yorkie for me was a great professional, great to have in the change room for the boys, organised certain things for the boys, even if it was going out for a night out to hang together. Organised a cruise for the boys. One day took the boys out on a cruise. I think that as much as it sounds funny, but I think it creates unity within the group as well, keeping the boys together, doing things together. But also how professional he was. Like the day he arrived, he got off the plane, we're at Centennial Park. Libarski was very hard, and we had a really tough pre-season. We do a lot of running, and he just joined in, did the work, didn't complain once, and that's why he reached the levels that he reached.
That's cool to hear.
I feel like that Sydney squad was a really special squad. Like I said, it was stacked. There were so many good players. Do you still keep in touch with a lot of those guys?
Yeah, most of the time we've tried to in my tenure being here with the club as well, and bring some of those ex-players back and announce them to the fans again, because obviously sometimes you have a new generation of fans that come in as well, and I think it's very important that we remember the past and the history of the club. It's still young, 20 years, but the club has achieved a lot in a short amount of space, and we still catch up at times when we can, with time, with life itself. Of course. On Friday nights, me and John Maizano, my assistant, we still go out to Strathfield, and when we can, have a kick around with some ex-players that are out there, like Jason Kalina and Eddie Bosler and these guys. We go out there and have a bit of a kick as well. It's great because everyone's still competitive. Everyone doesn't move as well as they used to, but everyone's still competitive.
Who's winning? Yeah, I'd love to see that game.
Who's the MVP of those pickup games? Who's still got it? You can say yourself as well.
Yeah, no, I don't need to. They can talk about it. I don't need to talk about myself. But yeah, look, I think they still have. I think when you're good at something and you have a touch, you don't lose your touch. What you lose is your ability to move.
But once the ball is at that foot, forget about it.
Then
That's
they're
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Then they're good. You
But
know what I mean?
pressing, then none of
but
that's
if they
you know,
want to
there's no
press
press.
and they want to make forward runs and they want to go past plays, it becomes a little bit more difficult.
Who's scoring the most goals in those games?
Yeah, it varies. It varies. We use small goals because we like to make it tougher. They
Yeah.
have the big goals there, but
Yep.
we use small goals. So the games aren't very stretched in that sense. They're very close all the time. But the last 4 weeks, I think my team has won 3 of them.
Whoa,
okay.
I'd love to park up on a Friday
I
night and
know.
go
If
watch
you're in the
it.
Strathfield area, yeah, go and watch the greatest pickup game in
Or
New South
Icons,
Wales.
yeah.
You're speaking about the history of the A-League, and I think almost like a forgotten time was North Queensland Fury.
Yes.
You were there.
Yes.
You played with Robbie Fowler. What just a unique period of Australian football. Of course, now they're defunct. What were your memories of those? You spent 2 years at the club?
2 seasons.
What
yes.
was the 2 seasons like and playing with
They-
someone like Robbie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Robbie, again, similar to Yorkie, achieved a lot in the game, very humble. The thing I liked about Robbie at the time was I was the fine master, so I looked after the fines. The
He had a few?
Yeah, no, the fines were more about, it's about more for the boys because you go on in the season trip, the money that's collected, we utilise that for the players to go away and at the end of the season have a good time together. So I remember Robbie came up to me and he said, Wolf, you guys, how about I give you, I don't remember the exact figure, but I give you X amount of dollars and you don't fine me for the rest of the year. And it was actually a good amount and I thought, you know what, that's not a bad idea, but I said, you know what, Robbie, I think I'll make more off you.
Yeah.
You kept your integrity. I like
I think
that.
I'll make more off you.
Did you end up
Putting it in
making
the
more
phone,
of him?
Kitty.
Yeah, not really. He actually did well. He got a few Liverpool jerseys organised for the boys that they auctioned
that's
off, which ended up
mad.
going into the players' kitty as well and stuff like that. And like very down to earth, again, individual, a good family man as well, good player. Obviously,
Yeah.
played at that level. So yeah, look, I think bringing those type of players into country more so helps the younger ones around them. And I think those type of players definitely influence the younger generation.
After there, you went on to manage. How did that come about? Was that always one of your ambitions to be a manager?
Yeah, look, the game has given a lot to me in that sense, and I love the game so much. The reality was I did my badges whilst I was playing,
Oh, cool.
so I was already thinking ahead because unfortunately the body doesn't let you do certain things every day anymore. So I always wanted to go into coaching. Didn't know what level that was going to be at. So I retired for 1 year. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything at all.
Wow.
Just have a nice break.
How did
I
that
had
feel?
I had a very good break. It was good until a certain point, and there was only certain there's only a certain amount of daytime TV I could watch.
Bold and the
being at home.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Judge Judy and one of the other Huey's cooking adventures and all that stuff. Yeah.
So then I started off, worked for New South Wales Football Federation and did skill act. I was coaching under 9s, 10s, and 11s and 12s out in the Nepean region. So I started to do that, which was great because it gave me my football fix again. And the kids are great. They're there. They want to learn. They want to get better. So it gave me an opportunity to do that. That was 3 nights a week plus a game on the weekend with that. I only spent 3 months there and then went for an interview down at the Institute of Sport. Never did an interview my whole life for a job previously, so I didn't know what to expect because as a player, your interview is
Yeah.
what you do during the season. Like,
Of
course.
If you've had a good season, scored X amount of goals, da.
That's the
Your
CV right there.
Your
Yeah.
contract's ending, then you obviously you negotiate a deal or whatever it is. But for me, I've never really gone into an interview for a job in a position like that. So, but I dressed nicely. I wore my suits.
It's like Step Brothers,
Yeah. So I went down, drove down to Canberra for the interview. Mark Pepper was the program manager at the time, and he picked me up from the car park. And he said to me, Wolfie, he goes, have you got a computer? I go, do I need a computer? He goes, are you going to present anything? I go, was I supposed to present anything? I'm not too sure, mate. I've never done an interview in my life for a role like this before. So I went in. I think there was 5 people at the time in there, 45 minutes. They asked a lot of questions. I answered my questions the best of my ability. And then I think 10 days later, I found out that I had the job as an assistant coach for the Institute of Sport role.
It kept
So-
you waiting a little bit. 10 days? I
Yeah,
feel like you would have
like-
been thinking, what's going on?
Sweating it a little
I
bit.
guess I wasn't the only one candidate for the role, so they would have gone through the process and done everything as transparent as they could and
Yeah.
made a final decision. So very fortunate to go down there because you know, the Institute has produced a lot of athletes, not just in
Definitely.
football. I think there's a lot of good people in service providers. When I say service providers, physios, the
Yeah.
SNCs and all that type of stuff, nutrition.
Yeah.
It was good learning for me as a young coach at the time, and at the same time to get to work with talented players.
Yeah.
You know, because we catered to the Joey's program, which was great. And then later I moved into the Joey's assistant coach role. From there, moved into the under-20s head coach role, assisted with the 23s, the Socceroos as well, and then assisted, with the Socceroos as well in certain camps, which gave me a great exposure as well, and great insight and great knowledge with the people that I work with in there, with Ange being in there, with Graham being in there as well. You know, working with Tony Vidmar at the AIS, Peter Drew, Han Berger was at the time the TD of the national teams as well. So very fortunate to work with some really good people. And then Stevie got the job here. Then had the opportunity to come here as assistant to Stevie. We did well that year. We won the championship, the title that year. And then all of a sudden, you know, Wellington came in, and then it was like, do I go? Do I stay? Wasn't too sure in that sense. Had a discussion with my wife and she said, do you want to be a head coach? And I said, yes, I do. She goes, well, an opportunity has presented itself. Why don't you want to take it? One thing I don't like is flying. I hate flying.
Really?
Yeah, I hate flying. I'm not a good
Really? flyer
flyer at all. And the first thing that popped into my head was going to Wellington and having a 3.5-hour flight back and forth every second week. Wasn't a great picture for me. But look, the opportunity was there. It was presented, and I thought, yeah, I have to take it if this is the path that I want to take as a head coach and stand on my own 2 feet. And very fortunate that Wellington gave me that opportunity. So went there, was there for 4 seasons. I stayed there as long as I could, in the sense that to show that I can have stability within a role. I didn't want to chop and change from club to club. Stayed there for 4 seasons, 2 challenging years with COVID. 2 seasons that were based in Australia here, one in Wollongong, one in Chatswood at the time. And then, you know, left Wellington knowing that I didn't have a job at the time. Then was fortunate enough that Graham called me while I was at the Socceroos. He goes, what are you doing, Ufi? I said, well, not much at the moment. So went away with the Socceroos, did some great games, did Argentina, played Mexico in Dallas. Then we went and played England at Wembley, and then New Zealand out at Brentford, I think. And that was it. And then the opportunity come to Sydney, and, you know,
I just can't get over, you have a fear of flying,
Yes.
and your first head coaching job was a team that has a game called the Distance Derby.
Yes.
Well, that's just a cruel
You would have
twist
been
of
dreading
Well, I'm
that.
doing a job that I have to fly nearly every second week anyway. So
Has it ever over time gotten better or not?
Nah, I think it started once my daughter was born. Before that, I was quite comfortable flying. And I think once I had my first child is when the fear of flying got
Why
me.
is that? Was it the
I
baby
don't know.
crying on the plane?
No, I think it's maybe just having a responsibility of a family at home with kids
Yeah.
at home. And I think
Yeah.
that probably just changed my... Even though, like, I know it's safe, it's actually safer than driving, but still that fear factor of getting on a plane, I do not like.
Oh, wow, that is insane. And the awesome football story. Ufi, we are not done yet, because now we have an awesome part of the show. This is the Cool Break, brought to you by San Miguel. We are going to change the pace. I mean, we were going everywhere in that chat, but this is going to get even stranger. Ufi, the questions are going to be coming thick and fast, and they might be a little bit weird. What does Ufuk Talay do to unwind? Hobbies, TV shows?
I think I'm very fortunate now I have my grandson.
Ah, it's beautiful.
So he's 6 months old. He takes up a lot of my time when I get home. I actually look forward to when I'm waking up in the morning before I come into Sky Park. I'm hoping that he's awake because my daughter's with us at this moment.
Oh, beautiful.
And I'm hoping that he's awake so I can at least get 15, 20 minutes in before I leave to come to work.
Yep.
If he's not, I'm quite disappointed. Then I'll actually have a video call around lunchtime to see if he's awake and have a 2-minute chat, even though he doesn't understand a word that I'm saying. But I get to see him. But I think my grandson takes up a lot of time at this stage.
TV shows, movies, anything like that? Like, is there an Ufi? He just loves an Ufuk Talay big.
Bold and the Beautiful.
Love
He
Island
was
fan or
smiling
something
before when I
like
said
that.
Bold and the
I never
Beautiful.
watched Bold and the Beautiful, but I think it's sometimes whatever my missus wants to watch.
Okay, that's fair.
For me, sometimes the TV's on, but I'm always thinking about football
Yeah.
for some reason. It's always, what are we doing for tomorrow? Is a player going to be all right? He's come back from injury. Is he going to be available? It's just constantly churning. Like my missus will always say, I can remember games from 20 years ago, but she says, you don't remember what I said 5 minutes ago.
Sounds about right. I think that's every relationship, right? Happy wife, happy life. In one ear, out the other.
Bad multitasker.
Yeah, that's right.
You've played with some amazing players in Australia and overseas. Who's the best one you've played with?
Ooh.
Yeah, for me, I think
tough.
it's got to be George Haji. He's the best player that I've ever played with. Firstly, great professional, great human being, and for me, one of the best left foots I've ever seen.
What was he like at training?
Very good, very hard worker. I remember he came in pre-season, he was underdone, but worked very hard to get himself fit. Won the team a lot of games, very smart. If the game was 0-0, he'd try to receive the ball in and around the box, take the contact, go down, get a free kick, put in top bins, 1-0, we go home. So, very, very class player, class human being.
Did he take you under his wing? Is there any learnings that he kind of
Well, one thing
mentored you?
I learned was a knuckleball from him at
Wow.
the time. He was a size, I think he wore a size 6. Very, very small foot. Never wore the full sock. Would always cut it, and then strap his ankle, and his toes will be hanging out in the boot. I guess he just felt comfortable that way.
Yeah, wow, whatever works for him. I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Barcelona, Real Madrid, he did something right.
Well, the
Yeah,
best
he
clubs
played
in
at some
the world.
decent clubs.
Yeah.
But like I said, very good professional in everything that he did, and very good human as well.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Okay, we're going to go around the world. Let's exclude Sydney FC. But from the countries you've played in, Australia, Turkey, France, Japan, I've got them all.
Yep.
Let's go best fans. You can maybe be specific as well and pick a club, but we're excluding Sydney FC from this one because, of course, they're the best.
Yeah, best fans. I think it's got to be Galatasaray.
Galatasaray, yeah. Okay. Best food.
Oh, it's got to be Turkish food.
Yeah, what's the go-to in Turkey? Like when I eventually go there for my hair transplant, on your
Kebab?
recommendation, what am I getting?
It depends on where you go, because
I go to Istanbul. Let's say I go to Istanbul.
Istanbul, you get a mix. But if you go to certain regions, they've got all their own, all their own dishes. But for me, you can never go wrong with Adana kebab.
Ah, beautiful. Are you like a guy that overdoes it with his kebab, or are you just a simple
Step
like lettuce,
back.
tomato,
No,
onion type of guy?
I'm a simple guy, not too much in it. For me, I'm lucky that my wife's a very good cook.
That helps.
So I do eat a lot of food at home in that sense. So very fortunate. She cooks quite well.
That
Now I
always
know
helps.
why you've been married for 30 years. She sounds great.
Yeah, I know. She does sound great.
If she wears glasses, she can't see. That's a good thing too.
Lifestyle. Where's the best place to live?
Lifestyle. I love Sydney.
Yeah.
Sydney's a great city for me. Istanbul I love as well. Istanbul's a big city as well. Some beautiful places as well. But Sydney is home for me.
That's awesome.
Zidane has said that one season managing, was more stressful than his whole career playing. What for you was more stressful? Is that managing or is it playing?
Managing is always more stressful. Playing, when you play, you come into training. The coach asks you to run here and pass the ball here, and you do it to the best of your ability. Whereas coaching, there's so many factors to head coaching. I think everyone sees the 90-minute game, where we put on a suit and we look nice pointing our fingers at players on the sideline. But there's a lot of processes that go into place to, one, to build a team, to incorporate and bring in the philosophy so the players have an understanding. Players that are playing are happy, ones that aren't playing are not happy.
Yeah.
You've got to manage those players. You've got to manage the board as well, their expectations. You've got to manage the fans' expectations. You've got to deal with media. You've got to keep your staff happy. It's not just players as well. If staffs feel like they're not getting what they need from it as well, you've got to make sure that they're happy so they can do their role to the best of their ability as well. So obviously you're managing a lot more people, where as a player, you just got to make sure that you're fit and healthy and doing your best, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
One manager that you mentioned that I've been so excited to ask you about, Fatih Terim,
Yes.
the Emperor.
Yeah.
That's what they called him. What's your best Emperor story?
The thing I liked about Fatih Terim was he was ruthless. He was very ruthless in the decisions that he made, and he never made decisions on. And it's similar to me. I don't make decisions on character. I expect you to be a good human regardless. Good should be a given.
Yep.
Effort should be a given. When you come to training and to work or whatever you do, that you give 100%. But if you're not performing, and that's what we get paid to do, I get paid to get these players to train so we can win games on the weekend. The players get paid to win games at the same time. If you're not performing, then he had no qualms of going, okay, no problem, you sit to the side and someone else will take your job. So, but he was probably the first coach that we actually really started to do some tactical work with. And then he had that success of 4 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you took a lot from him? you did mention him before, but what would you have probably taken into
Not his
your
ruthlessness.
Is he a little bit too ruthless? Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there like a headbutting or something?
No. So yeah, look, for me, he come in at a time after Graham. I think he comes straight from the national team. He had good success. I think he's probably one of the most successful coaches at Gullah. So yeah, look, for me, I think there's learning moments of sometimes what not to do as well. I'm not saying that he did anything bad, but there's things where you look at it and go, maybe I would probably handle it a little bit differently. And every circumstance a little bit different as well.
And there's one more question in the cool break, Sammy.
Yep.
I'm very excited. I saw this one on the rundown because I think I know what answer we're going to get. Do you want to say? You ask it.
Yeah. If there was one thing that you could change in football, what would it be?
I think our game has been great. I don't think a lot of rules have changed in since the game's inception. For all, I don't know how long the game.
VAR?
Yeah, VAR. Look, I only want VAR to intervene in certain things, not everything. But for me, I want the referees to make the decisions and get it wrong, and then VAR can pull it up. Not the referee makes no decision and relies on VAR to find what went wrong. That's for me more important with VAR. The best rule change that we've had is actually the back pass, which has sped up the game. But other than that, I think everything to our game is good. Maybe we can keep VAR, maybe we can get rid of it.
Is it the process of VAR that's frustrating as a manager, or do you think that maybe it's affected refereeing and actually made maybe the referees are more scared to make a decision, whereas before it was, what they said went, and when we moved on.
Yeah, one thing we can't do is celebrate goals at the moment.
I know.
We have to wait because VAR has to look at goals, which is quite sad because that emotion, everyone's waiting, and then the emotion comes when the goal is, allowed or disallowed. For me, like I said, the referees, I'd rather they make the decision and get it wrong, and then VAR can fix it, rather than they make no decision and they're waiting for VAR to fix it.
Also, players are waiting around, and they can get injured by, not being warmed up. So if it takes a while, that can impact.
Yeah. Look, I think if the process is quick and it's used, done rapidly, I don't think it's an issue. But when it does take a little bit longer and players are waiting around 3-4 minutes, then it starts to become a problem.
The celebrating is the worst part. You get a goal, you want to go mad, especially when you're at the game. You have no idea what's going on. It's a little bit different when you're watching it on TV. But yeah, I will say that is one thing about the game's gone. The game is. Let's now move into more fan questions, guys. Thank you so much for giving your questions. This one is from this young man. I'm going to assume it's a guy. It's Camilo SN. He had so many good questions, but we're only going to pick one, Sammy.
He did have a few, but we've chosen the best one. It is, how do you balance developing players with getting immediate results?
Yeah, that's a tough one. With young players, you know that they're going to be inconsistent at times because when things are working well, it always goes well. But when things aren't working as well, they don't have the experience to fall back on to get themselves out of what's not working. And then it falls on us to try to fix that. And whilst you're trying to win games, it does become difficult. So developing players and trying to win at the same time sometimes is quite tough. But for us as coaches, we need to understand of the moments where we can chuck them in the deep end and let them swim. And once they start to sink, we need to pull them back out. And sometimes even sending them down, not sending them down, but playing NPL and go and build that confidence. And, a striker scoring 3 goals in NPL and then coming back again, it plays a massive role of understanding each individual as well. So it's not easy to do, to develop players and try to win games as well, because you're going to have that inconsistency at times.
I feel like that's something Sydney have done really well, especially with the NPL. You've got Segacic and Hayden Matthews that have all come through and then, been able to go overseas. Is that something that you're really proud of, being able to develop those young players and, send them off for such success?
Yeah, I'm on the lucky side of it. All the development's done before they get to me. So I'm from the age of 13 all the way up, and I get the best part of it when they do come through. And then it's still my job, and we have Matt Sim that does a great job as a transition coach that works with them closely, especially our scholarship players that are currently training with the senior squad. That they get a lot of information, get a lot of feedback from the games and training that they play, and transition them smoother into the first team. And look, Sydney has always produced players, whether they've ended up playing for us or going to other clubs. We will always produce the best players. I think we've got the best academy in the country. and we've got some great young talent coming through, and it's not easy to expose all of them at the same time because we still have visa players, we still have senior players, we still want to win competitions. It's put them in there at the right times and expose them at the right times, and I think at times you need to have a brave coach that's willing to throw in a young player at times, knowing that you might not get the desired outcome immediately, but moving forward with the future, that we will end up getting a player that we'll either hopefully keep for a longer time or we end up selling overseas.
This question's from Harrison Cole. When you're looking at new footballers, what's something that always sticks with you?
For me, everything in football is first touch.
Okay.
So we look, once we have an idea of what the game looks like and the way we want to play, so we look for attributes in a player, how he fits into the team, how he ends up combining with the player next to him, because it's a balance. We can't have 11 runners and that no one controls the ball. So we can't have, and we can't have 11 generals and no soldiers. So, we need to balance the squad out where some players have certain attributes, some players have different attributes, and they combine together, and that brings that cohesion where you have a team that can be fluid. So, yeah, we look at certain things. It's position specific as well. And what we expect, we want strikers that score goals, obviously, and get in the box, and we want defenders that don't concede goals and stop opponents from scoring goals.
Do you have any personality prerequisites? So let's say, for example, you've scouted this player. He's an absolute baller. You know he's going to improve the team straight away, but you're a little bit worried about his character. And are there any personality? Is that a big thing for you as well? Something maybe you speak to them before? Is that part of the process?
Yeah, well, we got Alex Bomihan, who's our football director, that goes through all the stuff with the agents and the players, and I'll always have a final chat with the players to get a feel for the player, and the player also gets a feel for me as well, because we'll explain to him how he fits into what we want to do. But for me, it doesn't matter how good of a player he is. If the character doesn't fit, for me, it's a waste of energy and a waste of time.
I feel like attitude's everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Attitude and mentality is number one.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. There were some really good questions. Looking forward to
We'll be doing them every week as well. And they're real ones as well. It's not like we just wrote them up ourselves and gave fake names. Those were, so thank you to Harrison, Camilo, and who was the first one? James. But Sammy, let's look ahead now to this weekend. First home game of the season.
Ufi, so we've got Mariners this week. It's your first home game at Leichhardt. How are you feeling for this game? What are you expecting? And do you have a message for the fans?
Yeah, hopefully we got a great turnout. It's been a while since we've caught up with the fans. I think back end of April was our last game. Yeah. We don't talk about the friendlies because they're generally behind closed doors, but looking forward to the Cove coming out, looking forward to our fans coming out. I think Leichhardt is always a great buzz with the fans. It's nice and compact. I think we can get a good number in there. I think the atmosphere will be fantastic. I'm sure the players are looking forward to it as well, and it's our first home game, and we need to get 3 points on the board, so their support is going to be very important to the group itself. But look, the week has been good for training. The boys have been positive. We trained at Leichhardt today to get a feel for the pitch. We'll train there again on Friday. And we were just working on our game plan. And look, Central Coast had a good result against Newcastle last minute. Redders makes a save, and then they go long, and a bit of calamity down the other end, and they end up scoring and winning the game. But look, they'll be in a good place and a good high, and we know that we need to win at home. So I think it'll be a great game.
No, Ufuk, thank you so much for taking the time out. You've just come from training to speak to us. We really appreciate it. Last question: if you weren't a footballer / manager, what would you be?
Well, I don't know. This is the only thing that I've dreamt of as a young kid. Like every kid that comes through and plays, I think the aspirations were always to be a footballer. Very fortunate to follow that path, and then very fortunate to go on the coaching side of things. So never really thought of anything outside of being in football.
So plan B was execute plan A. It was always football.
Or make plan A better.
Yeah.
At least you didn't have to do any more job interviews after that first one. That
I
was
did.
it.
I did. Obviously for even
managing,
for
but
here and even for the role at Wellington, so I had to go through the process of an interview with the board and stuff like that. So for me, I love the process. I think it's great whether you get the job or not. I think it's a great process to go through, and sometimes if it doesn't work out, then you can find out why and what you need to improve as well and stuff like that. So there's always room to grow. No one's the end product. No one's a finished product. At the end of the day, I think the only time you're a finished product is when you're 6 feet under. So, there's always chance to get better at what we do.
I love that. Ufuk, thank you so much for coming on with us. Really appreciate it. Good luck this weekend as well.
Yeah.
And guys, a big reminder, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and get your fan questions in as well. Sammy, it's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. And like you said, some more questions because they were actually really hard to choose from.
Yeah, they were really good ones this week. No, that was awesome, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you.